So I was just talking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me that her job, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, is now requiring them to get the juice 666 by the end of the year. What I find interesting about that, right at the beginning of wintertime, people are required by many corporations to get the juice 666 at a time where it's really hard to resist for many people because they have children, they have mortgages that they have to maintain, they have a family, and they don't want to get caught short, especially if they're saying that if you lose your job, that you cannot collect unemployment. Not only that, a time is coming where they're going to start denying state benefits unless you receive the juice 666. But it's all a part of the times that we're now in. We talk about the last days. We've studied and read about the last days in the Bible for so many years. But I really don't think people took that serious. They looked at it as a fairy tale book. They looked at it as characters that never existed. So now we're dealing with times where much of the prophecies in the Bible have come to pass and are now coming to pass, and we are actually experiencing the times that was written and prophesied in the scriptures. Just in case many of you have not read the Bible, I'm not referring to those people that just heard the preacher. Now, those that just heard the preacher, I'm going to also include you in this as well. People that have never studied or read the Bible. They only heard what someone told them. They only repeat what they heard someone say, but they've never read it for themselves. Just to give you a glimpse of the times that we're living in and the times that we're headed for, I want to take you to the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, reading the 3rd to the 22nd verse. And it reads as follows. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ. Now, this could go twofold. This could mean that many shall come in his name, saying, in other words, and say, which I believe that where it says, I am Christ, should be in quotes, because this is what they're coming in his name saying. They're coming saying that they are Christ. They are false Christ. And we see that right on YouTube, where many false Christs are telling people that they come in his name, that they are the Messiah. Some even go as far as saying that they are God. But the Bible tells us to don't be deceived by that. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And we hear so many people talk about how they were scammed by these false Christs and false teachers and false preachers. The 6th verse says, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famine, and pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places. Now, in America, in the UK, in China, in Russia, in other nations, we don't worry about famines, and we worry about earthquakes and pestilence, but famines, we're pretty fat. We're pretty well fed, and we take it that when we hear of African countries and you hear of Haiti and different places like that where we see famine, our minds usually rest in these places. We never take the time out to think that it could happen right here in your homeland. We always want to think there's some other place. Yes, we've always had pestilence. We've always had earthquakes, but things are supposed to increase like never before. The 8th verse says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And you hear that they've been trying to get rid of religion. They've silenced many Christians. They've erected satanic statues and churches. So we're not too far away from the Antichrist, which is already in the world. And we're starting to see hints and peaks of the Antichrist. The 10th verse says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. We're living in those times right now. Especially where it says, many shall be offended. You could hardly say anything now without somebody being offended. Look at what's happening with Dave Chappelle and the likes that voiced their opinion, and someone was offended, wanted them removed or wanted them canceled. But it's all a part of the signs of the times that we're living in. People are betraying one another. People are hating one another. The 11th verse says, and many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. But because iniquity shall abound, in other words, because iniquity shall grow and become worse, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. The 14th verse says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let them which is on the rooftop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. These are women that are nursing. We're now heading into winter, where brute winters, snowstorms, ice storms will occur in various places. But then you have mothers that have lost their jobs, cannot collect unemployment because they refuse the Juice 666. They refused it, so now they left to fend for themselves, or if they have family, to help them. There are so many right now that are on the verge of being homeless because of the so-called pandemic or the pestilence that's in this land. So people now are on the verge of losing their homes and being put out. But they're at the mercy of the pharaohs of this time. Either receive the Juice 666 or be put out into the street and become homeless. But wait, I thought they wanted to save lives. I thought the purpose of the Juice 666 was to save lives. But yet you rather destroy lives, ruin homes and families for the cost of a jab. How is that trying to save lives if you're destroying lives? Make sense of that. The 20th verse says, "But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." I'm going to read that 21st verse again. Pay close attention, because what we are about to endure has never happened, nor will it ever happen again, because we're living in the last of the last days. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And the 22nd and final verse says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." If you notice, time is flying by. And the days have been shortened and will be shortened even more. You wake up, you go to work or do what you do. Now it's dark. You're in the bed, you wake up, the same thing. And because this world is moving so fast, this universe is moving so fast, people cannot handle the motion of it. Although you can't feel it, you can sense it. You're experiencing it. So because of the motion of the fact of these days being shortened and things moving so fast, many of us are motion sickness. Many of us are losing our minds. They're losing grip with reality. And many are erasing themselves. The 22nd verse again says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, for the people of Yah, for their sake, those days shall be shortened." So, yes, we're living in perilous, evil times. But the Most High is showing mercy and grace upon those that are His children by shortening the days. Yes, there's many of us that love our lives. We don't want to die. But when you think back of family members that have passed away and that are not in this time, was that really a blessing for them? That they didn't have to go through this and make this choice, this sacrifice, this decision to live or to die? They didn't have to make this. They would only be judged according to the end of their life. We, on the other hand, will be judged according to what we're dealing with now and what's to come until our life expires here on this earth. Many of us are put in a position where we have to make choices and decisions against our own will, especially if your flight is in the wintertime, especially if you have children or you're nursing and about to give birth to a child. You don't want to see your child suffer. Not that you've done anything wrong, but because of what has been placed upon you by this system. So now you have to make a choice and decision of protecting yourself, your family, your moral values, or submitting to the juice 666, the evil potion that we have no idea what's in it and why they're pushing it so hard. So, feedback, tell me what you think. We're living in very trying and troubled days. People are folding. People are crying and weeping because they were put in a position that they had to submit. They're being medically raped. And there's nothing they can do about it. If it goes wrong, if they have adverse reactions, who can they sue? Who's going to pay? These are the choices that humans now have to make. But yet they're trying to save your life. So feedback, tell me what you think. Until next time. I'm fearless.